Hi, this is Sandy with STS Digital and the Accord Sequarallel. In Playbook 2, we'll have a look at odd TRAX tracker sizes and a novel way to self-control their transposition using a CV loop. So we'll need some tracks, well, all 5 quick boxes for this example. The idea is that each will be a different size. Sizes away from the usual 8, 16 or 32 steps we usually want to use in a tracker. Each will have a single note in the starting step. So A4 and a note effects to echo the note once on the next step. Which means 24 ticks or 100 step. The size of TRAX 1A will be 3 steps. So here's how it sounds. Next, in TRAX 2, we'll pop an E5. Now with the note effects 1, we can simply copy note effects from TRAX 1A here, which saves time. Here's both playing so far. So, the size of this sequence will be 4 steps. Three and 4 steps. I'm choosing notes that will play well together, as one would with a scale. TRAX 3A will be 5 steps. There are 5. So note effects 1, copy from TRAX 2A or 1A, same thing. And now with the 3 track sequences playing, shorten these a bit to clean up the soundscape. The echo will also be shorter as a result. Off to TRAX 4. 4A? Probably a D will be okay. One cool thing that can be done is to control any note with remote control from MIDI notes, which have been set to a specific range. Of course, the note could be shifted up to 8 notes set in the note effects micro-arp, then remote control its offset with a CV or a MIDI CC knob. I'll set the micro-arp in TRAX 5. So the size of TRAX 4A is 6 steps. Getting pretty crowded, so let's shorten this one too. One more to go. I'll make TRAX 5A an odd 7 steps long. I can't think of another note while staying inside of an octave, so let's just repeat A, an octave up with A5. Because that's boring, in note effects we'll load one of the other note effects, and then modify echo to repeat 3 times. The first echo shift up 2 semis, and the second up 5 semis. There, not so boring. Here it is on its own. So, there's 5 track sequences, all different sized, playing together. Sounds repetitive even though they don't actually all align for many iterations. 420, I think. To prepare for the CV self-transposing part, I've patched CV4 output to CC5 input. This could be done via MIDI remote control as well, but looping patch is much more interesting, right? So in MIDI push, CC5, set as an input, can learn to control the master transpose. Oops, it needs to be selected to be learned in. I was trying to stop it. This is happening because the 1 volt per octave CV4 output, even though not configured, has already been transposed upward, which is like a runaway. So to make this work, layers can't be transposed as well as MIDI in, which we'll use with a keyboard to send row 4's CV output. The transpose limit is 4 octaves, so maxed out at 48 semitones. In order to get rid of this high output, CV Mode must assign a different channel to the jack CV4. We'll go with channel 2. Okay, enough of that. So now a MIDI input on channel 2 will change the 1 volt per octave output on CV4, which will change the transpose via CC5 jack, which is also about 1 volt per octave. Almost forgot, we don't want to actually hear channel 2 on MIDI, so it needs to be masked. Even though MIDI out is masked, the CV output won't be. So, all ready to go. I'll manually adjust this back down for posterity. Playing notes on channel 2 will cause transposing of all the TRAX quick boxes playing, as TRAX wasn't opted out in the transpose settings. Let's try it. The pitch bend control also works with this, even though it gets quantized by transpose. The update rate is per beat, but best stick with bars. Row 4 hasn't been calibrated in this unit, but it's doing pretty good from the factory settings. I've set the 0 volt note at 48 semitones in advance, so there's some lower transposing and negative voltage with this keyboard. So if notes can be played into control transpose this way, then probably they can be recorded into a layer, right? Let's give that a try. Okay, 16 bars. Start with the transpose 0, this key. Should have had a beat, as it's hard to know where it's at with all these odd length TRAXes. There it is, a layer recorded CV to transpose automation thingy. Unfortunately, it's a distance between the keyboards and my modular rack, so excuse my running back and forth. I'll mute this layer for the next part. Another thing that can be done is to use the CV Mode Order Arpeggiator with the MIDI input. Because the ARP natively outputs from the CVs, it's just too tempting to ignore. Now multiple notes can be played. Seems to work fine. This is interesting as ARP cycles will transpose differently depending on how many notes the chord was. So now let's try recording chords that will ARP. But only 8 bars in the interest of keeping this video short-ish. Unmuting the layers to play together will be a bit chaotic, so time to enter the layer loop step sequencer to edit them. So 2 steps. One is the single notes recorded earlier, and the other with the chords. With ARP, single notes will just play as before, more or less. Each step's effects can be added for more shenanigans. Maybe too high. Here we go. Probability will make things interesting as the chord sizes will be affected, therefore the way the ARP plays. And then the transposition of the track sequences. Now for a view of all the track sequences playing. I hope you enjoyed all this. Stay tuned for the next in the Sequarallel playbook series. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to get the word out. Thanks for watching!